All right. We're going to take some time to talk about some of the main parts and the operation of a four-stroke gasoline engine. Now you've got different types and styles: inline, V, horizontally opposed, overhead camshaft, overhead valve. We're going to look at overhead camshaft for this video. And they could split an engine into two halves, the top half and the bottom half. The top half is going to be called your cylinder head, and the bottom half is going to be called your engine block. The engine block is going to be the base or the foundation of your engine. Everything's going to bolt to that. Machined into your engine block are the cylinders, right? 4-cylinder, 6-cylinder, 8-cylinder, and then you've got three main parts down there. You've got a piston, and all the piston does is move up and down inside those cylinders. Right, just pumps up and down. You've got a connecting rod. The connecting rod attaches to your piston and then connects it to what's called the crankshaft. Now the crankshaft just spins in the bottom of the engine block. Right, and these three things make up your rotating assembly. Now the crankshaft's going to spin in the bottom of the engine block, and it's going to push and pull on those connecting rods, which are going to push and pull on those pistons. Right, so we've got two connecting rods here. There should be two here. There should be two here as well, but they're taken out. We've got our piston moving up and down in our cylinder. Right, there's the other one on the other side. Connecting rod's going to push and pull on that piston and move it up and down. And then we have our cylinder head, right, the top half of the engine. An inline engine is going to have one of these. A V-type will have two. Now in your cylinder head, you're going to have a camshaft. Right, you can have one camshaft or two camshafts, single or double overhead cam. And the camshafts just spin in the top of the cylinder head. And as they spin, they're going to open and close valves. Now, as these valves open and close, they're going to let the intake air in and the burnt exhaust out. Right? So you have intake valves and exhaust valves. And as the camshaft spins, they're going to push down on these valves and open them and then allow them to close. This happens faster than you can see. So we have a slow-mo video to show you. And then we have spark plugs, probably the most recognizable part of an engine. Now these are going to ignite the air and fuel mixture inside your engine by creating a spark. There's one piece that connects the top and the bottom of the engine to make sure everything is doing what it should be doing at the correct time. That's going to be either your timing belt, which is made out of rubber and fibers, or your timing chain, which is a metal chain. Now all of these parts work together in perfect timing to complete the 4-stroke cycle. The first stroke is the intake stroke. The piston is going to move down in the cylinder, the intake valve is going to open, and air and fuel is going to get drawn into the engine. The second stroke is the compression stroke. Both valves are going to be closed. The piston is going to move up, and it's going to compress the air and the fuel mixture. Then the spark plug is going to spark. It's going to ignite the air-fuel mixture, and that's the start of the combustion or the power stroke. This burned air and fuel is going to get hot. It's going to expand, and it's going to push the piston down. And at this time, both valves are still closed. And then we have the exhaust stroke. The exhaust valve is going to open. The piston is going to move up, and it's going to push out all that burned air and fuel. Now, before the engine can do this on its own, an electric starter motor is going to rotate the engine to start this process. Now we've got a lawnmower engine here to show what's happening during the different strokes. So on the intake stroke, the piston's going to move down, the valve's going to open, and it's going to suck in the air and the fuel. The compression stroke, both valves are closed, piston's going to move up, compress that mixture. On the power stroke, the combustion's going to push down the piston, and on the exhaust stroke, the piston will come back up and push the exhaust out of the exhaust valve. Now again, this is a simplified and generalized overview of the parts and operation of a 4-stroke overhead camshaft engine using a flathead lawnmower engine, some overhead valve V6 engines, just to show the parts and operations inside the engine.